What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I have pretty much a full face of first impressions, except that they're not first impressions, they're like third or fourth impressions, but they're new products that I want to talk to you guys about that I've actually been using for a few days. The way this worked out was I got a bunch of new stuff, both things that I've purchased and PR items, right before I left for a trip last week. So instead of just leaving them home, I actually brought them with me and used most of them while I was on the go to get a better feel of them, like before I talk to you guys about them, which actually kind of seems like it worked out for the best, because now I can actually tell you what I think of this shit instead of just like, I think this might be good. You know what I mean? So today I have the Urban Decay Decay Petite Heat Palette, the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Bronzer, the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy Highlight. So exciting! As well as the House of Lashes Faux Mink collection. Oh, and two of the new Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick shades. Almost forgot about those. Wearing it on my face right now. Duh. Before we get into the video, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that so very much. Also, do not forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I will take a second to let you find that button. It's right down in this general area somewhere, and it's pretty easy to find. You click it, and then we're friends forever, essentially. So now let's just jump in and get started on the eyes. Okay, for the majority of this look, I'm going to be going in with the new Urban Decay Decay Petite Heat Palette. It's definitely not a first impression of this palette because I brought this to Iceland with me and I wore it pretty much every day, but it's the first time that I'm doing more than just like a very simple look with it. So I can tell you already what I think of the palette. It is the nicest Urban Decay formula I think I have ever used. Literally every single eyeshadow palette they've released in the last year or so has just gotten better and better formula wise. It's super pigmented, but like, I don't know, has that like silky buttery feel to it, and it blends really nicely. I've gotten very little fallout with it, but to be fair, I haven't done like a super dark look with it just yet. So I don't know if we're gonna get any fallout doing this kind of like more like winged out smoky sort of a look. We'll see. I'm gonna start by picking up this MAC 217S brush and a little bit of the shade Vibrate. And I'm going to apply that in my crease, but I'm going to start to create a winged shape with that. So instead of just stopping here, I'm going to start flicking it out at the end to start creating a little bit of a smoky wing shape. Next, I'm going to pick up my MAC 268S brush. I am obsessed with this brush for doing smoky winged liner. I've been doing smoky winged liner more than I have ever probably in my entire life just because I have this brush now. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of this color Hot Spell, which I've noticed is like, it looks like a very neutral, like light brown shade, but when you put that shit on, it's got some warmth to it. I'm gonna just use the shape of that brush to drag the shape out and bring it to a point, and then I'm going to kind of do the same thing here above my crease. Getting a little bit of fallout now that I'm using it on a slightly more dense brush, but nothing that we can't handle. I'm going to use that same brush again, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of the second darkest color in the palette. This is called Heist, and I'm going to put that in the exact same shape, but instead of like dragging it and blending it so much, I'm going to kind of just stamp it down and then gently blend it out into the surrounding color with another brush. So that way it just kind of gives us like a very concentrated smoked outline. And I'm also not going to bring that in past where my crease starts, just because I want the definition on the outer portion, but I don't necessarily need it to go all the way through. And I'm just going to use a clean pencil brush to run over the edges of that and blend the lines slightly, but not really change them all that much, if that makes sense to you. I'm going to pick up the darkest shade here, Strike, on a Sigma E06 winged liner brush, and I'm going to repeat basically that same process again, this time even more concentrated. I'm going to pick up that same MAC 217S that we started with and dip it into this color here called Wild Thing. Place it on the inner corner of my eyes, fading it out toward where we started, that like kind of half negative space wing thing that we've got going on. I don't know what the hell to call this right now, but that's what I'm going with. And with a clean blending brush, I'm just going to blend the edge of that shadow. So now what we're left with over here is like a fade into this negative space, and then a little bit of like, almost like a graphic wing, but it's like smoky, so it's not completely graphic. They're definitely not exactly the same, but my eyes are different, so let me see what we do. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of the color Heist on a pencil brush. This is a Sigma E30 pencil brush. And I'm gonna put that in the inner corner area so we get more of like a gradient from here to here, here to here. And I'm gonna repeat that same process with a smaller brush this time so that we keep it in a smaller space. Pick up that darkest color Strike one more time. Oops, I almost dropped that right into my coffee. Gonna pick up Strike one more time, and this time I'm going to use it on a MAC 228S. And I'm using the edge of that brush, see how it's kind of like a very flat shape, to drag that color into the crease line. Or I should say the faux crease line, because it's definitely way above my actual crease. Now for the area that's the like negative space area in the center here, I am going to put on some glitter, because glitter makes everything better. This is the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter in the color Midnight Cowboy. I'm gonna put that on directly with the brush, but I'm going to blend it with my finger so that I can like disperse it out. So that's where I'm going to leave the eyes, except that I do want to apply some false lashes and some mascara. I am wearing eyelash extensions at the moment, but I think this look being a wee bit dramatic can use a little bit more drama in the lashes as well. Some of you guys have actually asked me before if you could wear false lashes with eyelash extensions, why can't I say that? Extensions, there we go, thank you. And the answer is kind of, like, you probably shouldn't. I'm probably gonna let mine grow out anyway, so I'm not super worried about it, but in the past when I did it, it was fine as long as I let the glue on my lashes dry really well before I put them on. That way you're not like dripping any excess glue into the actual extensions and then getting them all fucked up. But if you let it dry and you don't get any in the extensions, in my experience, it's been fine, but they don't recommend it. So I'm going to be using a new pair of lashes today. These just came out. Actually, I'm not even sure if they're out yet as we speak. This is the new House of Lashes Faux Mink collection. These are the style Opulent Noir. They kind of remind me of the Cake Face Kim Tai Lionhearted lashes, possibly a little bit less dense, but they have like a kind of similar look to that. So I am going to go pop these on, and then we are going to continue the rest of this look. Now that the eyes are done, I am going to dive into a couple more new products. Next up, we have the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Powder Bronzer. This is in the shade Tawny. Again, this is one that I traveled with this last week, so I did get to use it a few times. Tawny is a little bit darker looking on the skin than it looks in the pan. So that's one thing I have to say about it right off the bat. Other than that, using a very light hand with it, I've been loving the way this looks on my skin. I'm just going to apply some of it to my cheekbone area and blend it up. I'm using the Benefit Hula brush. Definitely has a bit of like a reddish undertone to it, which does tend to look more natural on me, so I like that. And because it's kind of on the red side, it's not like super orange like you would only use as a bronzer, but it's not super gray either, like a contour. So it's sort of in the middle, and it can kind of get away with using it for both. So far these lashes are like real pretty, but the corners of them won't stop popping up. I think it's just because they're new. Usually lashes pop up in the inner corners a lot before you like break them in by wearing them a few times. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for now. The band is a little strange. I've never really seen a band like that before on a pair of lashes. It's like almost like it has like a little bit of a crimp like right at the beginning. It's definitely a little bit different. It doesn't look bad when it's on, but I don't know. The band is a little bit finicky at the moment, I have to say, but they do look lovely. So I went ahead off camera and just added like a nose contour or whatever with my usual Shade of Light eye palette. You guys don't need to see that because I have done that 1,000 times and used that 1,000 times, so it's not a part of this video. But I'll tell you what is a part of this video. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlighter. Also brought this with me on vacation, also completely loving it. I have to say that I'm not sure that I like it as much as the MAC Hyper Real Glow, but I like it almost as much. It has that same kind of a look to it where it appears very wet on the skin. Let me just shut the fuck up and put it on so you can see for yourself. How about that? All right. I'm going to apply it using a MAC 127S brush. One thing I noticed after using this for a few days is that it is like a very bright highlighter off the bat, but it's not like, whoa, like Amrezy blinding immediately, but it is extremely buildable. So you can kind of layer it over itself to give it like this crazy glow without it looking built up and chalky, which is very nice because you have options, because sometimes you want to look real glowy and other times you just want to look a little bit glowy. But I'm sure you could tell as I went over it a second time, it's like pew, pew. And last but not least, I got two of the new Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipsticks in the shade Nocturnal and Insomniac. I think I want to wear I'm not sure which one I want to wear with this look yet, but I'm going to put them both on so you can see them both in action anyway, and I guess I'll just decide after I see how they look. First, I'm going to use Insomniac. And now let's try it with Nocturnal. And this is how the look looks with Nocturnal. I'm not sure which one I like better. I'm going to think about it for a little bit before I take pictures of this look. I think I might have liked it better with Insomniac because I kind of like the way the warm oranges are playing with like kind of this teal muted undertone. Okay, so the first product that we used today was the Urban Decay Naked Petite Heat palette. I think this palette is absolutely beautiful if you need another matte warm tone palette in your life. If you have a lot of matte warm tone palettes, honestly, even if you have the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, I don't really think you need this in your collection because, I mean, God, there are so many fucking warm tone palettes out there these days. Like, there are just so goddamn many of them. But if you need like a mostly completely matte palette and you need it to be something small that you can bring with you someplace, the formula on this, the way it blends, everything, the pigmentation is fantastic. I did have a little bit of fallout with it when I used it on like a more dense brush, but that's completely normal for something that is very pigmented like this. Next on the docket, we have the powder bronzer in the shade Tawny. I actually really love this bronzer. I think that the bronzers tend to be a little bit darker upon application than you would think they would be in the pan. This is definitely darker than I expected it to be, but with a light hand, I think it looks absolutely beautiful. Tawny is an excellent shade if you're very pale, because it's definitely not orange, but it's also not muddy, so it doesn't give you the I accidentally used a contour shade as a bronzer kind of feel, because sometimes it happens. You have to be very careful when you're super pale. There is a shade lighter than this, so if you are like very pale, like MAC NC15 kind of pale, I would say maybe get the lighter one than this. I don't remember the name of that one, and I'm not certain if the darker shades are appropriate for very deep skin tones, but they did seem to have a pretty good range, and judging by how much darker and more pigmented this comes out on the skin than I was expecting it to, I think that the darker shades probably should accommodate a lot of people. Next, we have the Amrezy highlighter. This is absolutely beautiful. The packaging is gorgeous. It's very buildable. It gave us a nice wet look on the skin. I have absolutely no complaints about this, and something I actually really like about this, which is so like such a small thing, but I really appreciate this, is that the embossed wave print that's on here that makes it look so luxurious and nice is deep enough that you can use this a bunch of times without ruining the way it looks in the pan, keeping it like fresh and like luxurious feeling for a longer time. So I've been using this all week. It basically looks like I've never touched it before. A little bit of the texture of it has come off, but other than that, it looks so fresh and nice. As far as the liquid lipsticks, both of these shades are so fun. I did like kind of a shitty job of applying this one right now, so I have a real case of butthole ring, like got a serious butthole here. I overlined this side a little too much. I'm gonna fix that before I take pictures anyway, but that's not the lipstick's fault, that's my fault. I done fucked that up. I don't know if they've changed the formula or if I just kind of forgot how dry the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipsticks can be, but these definitely do feel a little bit dry on my lips, and I can feel a little, this looks so stupid, a little hint of like crumbliness along the inside of my mouth. So I'm curious as to how these will wear. I know they do tweak their formula between launches a lot of times. I'm not sure if they've done that this time. I have not seen any confirmation on that one way or the other, but they do seem to be very moussey and also a little bit dry. The colors, however, are out of this world. I love both of these. The House of Lashes faux mink lashes. So far, I'm not sure how I feel about these just yet. I'm a really big fan of House of Lashes 99% of the time, but I find that the band on these are a little strange. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about it yet. However, I'm going to reserve judgment because a lot of times lashes sit so funky on my eye for like the first 1 or 2 times that I wear them, and then once they're broken in, they're beautiful. So I don't know if it's just an issue of the band not being broken in yet. We will see as time goes on, and I'll keep you guys updated on what I think. And that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because that really helps me out and I would appreciate it so much. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because I would love to have you stick around. I'm gonna have another first impression tutorial up this week on the Anastasia Soft Glam palette, because it was stupid. I didn't buy it when it launched because I was like, I don't need it. It's so similar to everything else I have. And then I realized that I do need it in my heart. So I ordered it and it's coming. And so when I get it, I'm gonna film with it. And then that's what you guys are getting next, because that's how that works. Please feel free to go ahead and find me on social media. I am at Ms. Quinnface on Instagram and Twitter. And I also now have an account on VERO. I am Nicole Quinn on there. You can find me very easily under my full name. If you guys haven't used VERO yet, it's pretty cool. It's kind of like Instagram, but you can also share like music links and books and movies and all sorts of shit, and you can link right on it, and it's chronological. Oh God. Be still my heart. So yeah, I'll be posting a lot of my makeup looks on there as well, and I will also be sharing things I like music and books and movies, and so we can get to know each other a little bit better. I think it's gonna be fun. So go find me on there. Like I said, Nicole Quinn. I think that's all I have to say for now. Let me know if you've tried any of these products, what you think of them. If you have your eye on anything in particular, what was your favorite? What is catching your eyeballs? Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.